welcome to Business Notes. I'm your host, Diane Bogino, and our guest today is Maggie Anderson. Maggie is president of Words That Work. She holds a bachelor's in English from Duquesne University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and is an award-winning marketing consultant. She finds effective, creative ways to change minds and move new ideas forward. She is highly experienced in strategic communications planning, coaching, writing, and implementation. Maggie, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Diane.
The name of your company, Words That Work, is a little misleading because you do so many other things. Can you explain that a little bit for us?
Yes, thanks. I do. Really, primarily what I do is change perception. The way I do that with a client is to sit down and do a strategic plan. I have a set of questions that I've honed over a lot of years, and I use those to really get some in-depth on what their vision is for their company and who their most lucrative target market is.
There seems to be a lot of marketing advice out there today. So how is what you offer different?
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think people get a little bit overwhelmed. What I find is most of the coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs that I meet, they're very, very competent. The one piece that maybe they've not ever had to do is market themselves. That's where I try to really work with people to break down the overwhelm, really help them to see some specific ways that will be effective for them to market themselves. And so they walk away with communication tools like maybe a speech, a PowerPoint presentation, a brochure, a one-page sheet that really, in a very brief, synthesizes them and their business.
Well, what kind of clients do you work with?
I love working with people who are in small business. They usually have an incredible vision. They're very passionate about what they are doing.
What a small company do to stand out and get themselves noticed out there in that big market?
I think blogging is a great way to do it. A lot of people shy away from blogging because they say, "Oh, I'm not a writer," But I think as opposed to your website, which is a more static, formal brochure about you, a blog really lets you express your voice and gives people a way to relate with you. And that is the whole thing now, is relationship marketing.
So can you tell us a little bit about how your process works when you're trying to help a client with what their needs are?
I have a lot of different ways to work with clients. So I am a coach, and I offer just simple communications coaching. And that's one way to work with me. I also work on contracts. Some people have me as their communications department, so to speak, because they're not big enough to have a full-time employee, but they want regular, consistent communications. And then I have several programs. And one is a one-day program where they can, in one day, really get in touch with their vision, leave with a plan, goals and action plans for how they're going to implement the ones they've chosen. And then I have two other programs. One is called Unleashing Your Genius, and it's my platinum program. And with that, and also the Marketing Makeover, which is a shorter time frame, it's about 4 months, and people can spend 8 months in Unleashing Your Genius with me, and they get a lot of attention. And the way we work is to start with that strategic plan, and then start implementing some pieces that and then start implementing some pieces that I write for them that will be really effective to put them in front of people, to help them stand out in the market. And there's an overlap with, like, they might have an article coming out, they might be doing a speech, they might be handing out a new one sheet, and all of a sudden people are saying, "Oh yeah, I've heard of her, Diane Bogino, I think I've seen this somewhere," So it's really effective to do it all at once and get that overlap. Yeah, and then I also have, I call them stepping stone assignments. And so in between our coaching sessions and our writing sessions, they have assignments that handle just one of those little pieces, like getting their headshots or their, professional photos done. And I just lay out for them exactly what they should be looking for, what they need, and, they can go and get that piece done. Okay, that's done, check that off, and, then the next month they'll have another assignment to handle.
Okay. Maggie, you've been a successful business owner since 1981, even beginning with your own production studio.
Yeah.
Which really gives you a great background in what you do.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give business owners for longevity and particularly for the rest of this year?
Diane, I really think that staying light, staying quick, being flexible and fluid is really, really important. It was important to us. In our earlier years, technology changed a lot from when I started in my business, and we have a little bit of a technology-intensive business in communications, but I think everybody is affected by that.
Mm-hmm.
Technology changes, the world changes, and that's even more so today, as we see with the economy. So I think you have to not be too plugged in to doing things a certain way. Have a vision that you can stick with and that you're committed to, and then be willing to move a little bit if things change. Don't give up, but shift how you're doing your work.
What changes do you expect to see in marketing trends for the near future?
I was in an online seminar recently, and I loved what this one speaker said. She said, when you go to a barbecue in your neighborhood, do you walk up to the first person you see and hand them your business card and say, hi, I'm selling, vacuum cleaners or whatever? No, of course not. And she said, we have all got to start thinking of our online relationships like a backyard barbecue.
What do you think would be the most effective marketing tools for business owners today?
Right now, I'd say LinkedIn is one I send my clients to, and then maybe a Facebook fan page is not appropriate for everybody. Twitter, a lot of journalists are going to Twitter to find out what's trendy, who's an expert, who has some good new ideas that they can develop into a story. And, journalists are always hungry for that. So something like 79% of journalists responded that they use Twitter to find new ideas for stories.
Maggie, thank you so much for being with us today. I really appreciate your expertise, and I know our viewers do as well.
Well, thank you so much. This has been really a pleasure.
Thank you for watching. This is Diane Bogino saying I'll see you next time on Business Notes.